Well, I was born in Cuba, and my brother and my sister were there. My father left us there, and he came to America, and he said he will be back, and he never went back for us. I was 10 years old. In Cuba, well, I was going to school and then playing baseball most of the time. Yeah, we didn't have any money, so very seldom we have food. We ate, and my aunts, they sent us clothes.
Oh,
clothes, yeah.
Okay.
But we have not anything to eat. That was the truth. My mother could not work, and we were very little, so we had an aunt in Puerto Rico. She was a teacher, and she sent for us. And we moved from Cuba to Puerto Rico. We lived with my father's mother.
I was a very happy child, happy-go-lucky, always playing, singing, jumping, running, you know. Yeah, I had a very happy childhood.
That's great.
Yeah. When I was born, my mom got a lady. Her name was Dominga. And she stayed with us for about 11 years. And then she got married and had children of her own. And she left, but there was another girl by the name of Merida. She stayed with us a long time too, to the point that she married my house. And those were the ones that took me places, to the matinee or to the evening movies. I don't get angry. My daddy was like that. I'm just like my daddy. My mommy will be fussing, and he'll say, in those days we had radio because there was no television. And I was always dancing. And my mommy will be upset about some money or whatever. He said, oh, no, she'll be upset, and he'll say, maybe she needs some money. And he'll get a little dollar from his wallet and puts the dollar on her forehead to take care of her headache. And then he asked me to dance to the radio music. And I remember he'd say, taka-taka-tan, taka-taka-tan, and she'll be, blah, 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 and we'll be dancing.
That's so cute. Did you have music lessons?
I had violin lessons since I was around 7, for around 4 or 5 years. And I used to play in little city celebrations with my friend that played the piano. The Spaniards that had slaves gave the name to the slaves. The family name. Yes. So there is this man called Rafael Salazar that my daddy brought home to teach me the notes. And he came once a week, and he told us that his name Salazar was because of the slaves, because he was a black man. Of the slaves that the Salazar people gave to their slaves. So it had to be my great-grandfather, way back. Because after that there were no slaves, but they kept the name. And he said that they never do anything to tarnish the name. They were all musicians because they did them so well.
Did you like to practice, or is it something that was a chore?
No, it was a chore. I chose the piano, and my father said, no violin because you cannot take the piano with you. So what he said, I did. Well, I was very obedient, as I say. And my mother always told me, I'm going to tell you 3 times. Remember I said that before? And as being obedient, I did it once, I did it twice, but the 3rd time never happened because I didn't want it to be spanked. So That was it. I was a good girl.
My father had three sisters, yeah, and they were the ones that got us from we were in Cuba. You know, they sent for us, and I didn't see my father until many years later.
My grandmother was part Dutch, and my grandfather lived in Cuba, but he was from Puerto Rico. I didn't meet my grandmother. I met my grandfather, and he used to come and visit, and jumping on this knee and play with me. And he died when I was about 9 years old, and I remember him very well. I have a step sister and two step brothers that passed away when they were a lot older. And my stepsister is 87, and a little memory problems, but
That's okay.
she's still alive. She lives with her daughter. One of the entertainments of the young people on Saturday nights, you go to the plaza. Usually there is a cathedral and benches and flowers and trees. And there was the firehouse that is very unusual. I don't think there is another thing like ours in the world. Right in the middle of the plaza. So the boys walk towards, to the right, and we walk, towards the left. And that's how you meet people. And pretty soon, someone will join you if they like you. So that's the way I met Daddy. I didn't know he was in the high school. So next Monday, when I went to school, there he was. I said, oh my goodness, he's in school too.
Well, we went to the plaza, my best friend Ivan, we saw the two ladies, the two girls, and it was the custom of when the girls were walking around the plaza and the men in the opposite direction, they used to meet the girls, without knowing them. But that didn't mean that they were going to be something for them. So for this time, when they were passing in front of us, my friend and I asking if we could go around the plaza with them, and they said yes. And then I took the one of the girls, which was not your mother, my friend Ivan went with your mother. And we walked with them because it was night already, and we didn't know they lived very far from the plaza. So we went all the way to her house without entering the house or anything like that, and we came back. So anyway, when we came back, I told my friend that if we see those girls, I will take this one, and for him to take the other one. He said, I'll take any one of them, so don't worry. And then the next time I saw her was in high school.
In the study room.
In the study room, yeah. And I didn't dare talk to her or anything like that because I didn't know her. I didn't even know her name. And that was the beginning of it. Later on, I found who she was, and that's history, the rest of it. I didn't know our family doctor was the father of your mother?
He was general practice, but he did. There was a lot of tuberculosis in Puerto Rico in those days, and he was the director of the tuberculosis hospital. Besides being, he has his own office, and he was director of public health for a while.
Yeah, and he used to visit our grandmother, the mother of my father. So he came. He came whenever she was sick. She came and say, "Let's see how that old lady is today." She's calling me too many times.
And you know his name is Salazar Palau.
Yeah, Salazar Palau. Yeah.
His mother was Juana Palau.
Can you imagine?
So he is Guillermo, or he was Guillermo Salazar Palau.
He was Salazar
And
Palau.
if I had kept my family name, I'll be Gladys Salazar Palau. Just
Yeah.
like
Isn't Palau an unusual name? Is it
Palau
common, or
is
It's from Spain.
no, but it's from another area,
What?
northern Spain, Catalan.
Yeah, but
from Catalonia.
the Catalan. Yeah.
Well, my father original was from Barcelona.
And then 2 or 3 times he had to come for us because there were mosquitoes in Puerto Rico. There are a lot of mosquitoes, and they bite, and they give you, ¿cómo se llama?
Malaria.
Malaria, due to the
Malaria. I got malaria. So he came 2 or 3 times to help us, and I didn't know she was her daughter,
malaria
his daughter.
comes from the sugar cane plantations.
Yeah.
Now they have these ditches of water, and you know, so they were very. I remember we sit in the balcony at home when he went to visit me, and my mom would sit, you know, in the living room, but she'd go like this sometimes by the door, like you know. So
Did you both study English in high school?
in Puerto Rico,
In Puerto Rico, yeah.
being, you know, from the United States, we all had English. The only one in Spanish was Spanish class. All the rest, sciences, biology, everything was in English. So you knew the language.
But you joined the service
Wow.
shortly after you
When they
met.
draft them,
Yeah.
right, in second year of the high school, junior year.
Yeah, in the second year.
I didn't see him for a while.
When I was in the army, and I used to write letters to her once a week, about once a week. But I guess she was not too enthused with me because I didn't receive too many letters.
Yeah, you had.
But
You did. I tell that I'll get a letter from him and I'll answer it right away. So I didn't wait till tomorrow.
they sent me to the Panama Canal. To the Panama Canal. Yeah. And while we were there, the wife of the president came, and he went to where we were stationed. And one of the sergeants say, when Mrs. Roosevelt come, you stay put. Don't touch her or anything like that. So she came, you know, and she say, my husband sent me here, and he wants me to thank you, and kiss this and that. And when she was coming close to me, I stared at my hand, and the general, and she said, "Oh, come on, General, let him shoot my hand." She say, "Can you imagine?" And when she left and everything, the general came and say, "You are going to do what is it? KP for 2 weeks.
Do you remember the war? Do you remember what it was like?
I remember the war in Puerto Rico. We had about 5 bases. All you saw in the streets was soldiers, everyone. We had a base near us, named Ponce. And we had what they call a blackout, that the sirens would ring, a sound, and every lights had to be turned off, and everyone in the street has to look for cover, you know. And it lasts a few minutes, and then
Were
we did
you
that for practice.
were you scared of the condition of the world, or was Puerto Rico so far away that it didn't seem like a real threat to you?
No, wasn't. No, I never thought, because we are so protected with 5 bases, and it's so tiny. The rations. I remember the rations. Yeah, they allow a pound of sugar, you had a coupon, and all that kind of stuff.
Did you have a victory garden? Did you grow your own fruit and vegetables?
No. Well, my grandfather was a farmer, and he would come to my house, and we had a huge yard, and the front yard, we had a fence, but the back yard had bananas, oranges, avocado, 2 coconut palms, and we get stuff from there.
When I was in the army, father came to see me, and he said it was destiny. And I said, Father, don't tell me that destiny. You made destiny. Oh, what and I make him cry and all that. So I went back to the service, and he went back to New York, and it happened that he had another woman. So that was it. I remember while I was in the army, and I was in, I forgot the name of the place, but we could go there every night while I was in the army. And one time that I was there, General Patton was going to come, and everybody went outside of the place where I was, and a friend of me came inside where we were playing, and we didn't go out to see him. And all of a sudden, he got off the car, and he came inside, and he said, "Soldier, where is the, ¿cómo se dice?
Bathroom.
The bathroom. Where is the bathroom?"
Papa came to him, he didn't have to.
Yeah. And then, after he came back, I shook hands with him and said,
He washed it.
I was not supposed to. General Patton.
There you go.
He was very famous, and he fought the war. And
Did you see any combat in the war? You? No?
no.
He was lucky.
I was
From
lucky.
Panama, he came to the States.
Yeah. They just to guard the Panama Canal.
And that's when he always remembered that I was in New York because I was going to go to Mary Washington. And my father was on the way to Spain to have one of the fingers amputated, and he wanted me to go with him, but I said no, because I don't want to be late to school. But he went to visit him, and it's when he asked for my hand.
And then I approached her father, and he said that I wanted to marry her. Can you imagine? And he said, well, I know your family, and well, you can marry her, yeah. But first, you get an education, and then you consult me once again, and then maybe you could marry her. And the thing was that about 1 or 2 years later.
No, longer. You were in the army still.
Oh, I was
You
in
were a
the
soldier.
army. Okay, I was in the army.
Yeah, 8 years, something like that.
Long time.
Long time.
Yeah, long time. Yeah.
So how did you get here? What were the circumstances
I
that
came to
made?
school.
So you
Yeah, when I
applied
graduated
this?
from high school, I came to Mary Washington College. He was still in the army.
So you were already dating.
Oh yes, yes.
But did you have someone here to receive you? I mean, did you live by yourself?
No, I came to New York to my aunt's, and then when I was in school, I had a dorm. I stayed in the dorm
And how long did you live in the dorm?
for a couple of years. Then we had a counselor that told me that if I wanted sciences, that was not a good school. It was more art, and so I left. Then I went back to New York, worked during the summer, and then went to Boston to Medical Technology Institute they have there.
Yeah. When I was going to George Washington University, I was here by myself, and she wrote a letter to me that something happened to his brother and not to worry. And then my sister was already living where she is now, and I went to see my sister and tell her about. She said, "Well, you want to go to see him?" I said, "Yes, of course." And she gave me the money, and I went to Puerto Rico. And it happens that my brother was, there was a, ¿cómo se dice?
There's a market.
A market,
You know.
and he was in charge of the market. And the market was in a very bad condition.
It was like a farmer's market.
Yeah, farmer's market.
You know.
Yeah, and
We tried to remodel
to remodel.
everything there, and some natives didn't like it. Didn't like the way,
And shot him.
and they shot him.
Yeah, shot it all over.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
7 bullets.
Do you know what kind of gun? Was it like a handgun or a
A
rifle?
handgun.
He said that he saved his life because he started, turning on the ground. So maybe he was a very bad shot too. Yes.
How old was he when this happened?
30s?
30s? Was he
30s,
married?
is there?
No.
No, he wasn't married at
I
the
was
time.
working in the hospital when someone from the market came in his truck and asked me if they had brought him to the hospital. And I said, what happened? He said he had been shot. So right there and then, as I had a white uniform and white lab coat, I walked to my house. My mother was already with his mother. And I went straight to the hospital. And I could walk in because I had the uniform. They didn't let anybody in. So when I saw him, I threw myself, on him, and he said, they have sprayed me. Then they took him to surgery, and he survived.
Was it considered very serious at the time?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I remember the newspapers, and we have a local giving news on the radio, because he used to talk on the radio too, and about his condition, how he was doing. Yes.
Amazing.
Father went to see him, and it was the holidays, this early December. And then my father died on January 11th. When my father died and Alex was in the hospital, he had to go see his brother. And then my father died, and he told my mom, I'm not going to go back without Gladys. We get tired of letters.
When I went to New York and came back here, father, he told me that he would like to see my mother, his wife. And I came inside and I say, Mother, Don Gilberto wants to see you. He said, to see me? 100 years after after he abandoned us, so he came and stay outside, and I told him to come inside the house, and I brought my mother, and she stayed sitting there, and they saw each other, and my mother didn't know what to say, and he didn't know what to say until my mother say, do you want coffee? He said, oh yes, but remember this and that, the coffee. So they talked together, and my mother didn't move a foot, and then I guess he got tired of seeing each other, and he said, well, Maria, I think I'm leaving. And Maria said, okay, Gilberto. And they never saw each other. And he lived just around the corner.
Where did you get married?
In Ponce, Puerto Rico.
And in what, a church?
Yes.
And it was called?
Santo Asilo de Damas. That was lovely. I had 3 bridesmaids. One of them is Aranita, our friend from New York. And married church with 3 bridesmaids and music. We had a dance, beautiful cake, and then there was dancing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But my father had recently died, and I didn't feel like, we didn't dance or anything like that. We just left for our honeymoon and left the people celebrating.
Did somebody else walk you down the aisle?
Yes, a friend of the family did.
And what did your father pass away of?
Where?
How?
Oh, he had cancer.
Oh.
He was a doctor, and he worked a lot with X-rays in those days. And I remember that I'll go help him on Saturdays, and he'll get his apron to protect him from the X-rays, but his hands were like that. And in those days, then he started getting nodules, inflamed. And he had cancer to the brain.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sad. And so at some point, I guess you decided to come to the United States, and your mother went to New York. And
Well, after he died, then she didn't have any relatives there because most of her family was in New York. So we decided to come to New York so she could live with her sister.
and then your mother remarried.
No, yes, my mother came to New York, and she married Mr. Anderson, James Anderson, was a widower, and she was a widow. And one of my cousins invited them, and they got together, and they got married again. Yeah, that's right. And I came to Washington because he was at George Washington, and I was to work at Children's Hospital.
Ah. So when you came, you already had jobs
I had a
lined
job
up.
already.
That's great.
I applied from Puerto Rico.
And was that a job that you were really excited about? Is that an area you wanted
Well,
to
it
get
was medical technology. That's what I studied, and I worked in the lab, laboratory. He got a job at the Library of Congress, part-time, and then he went to school at night to finish up.
And did you like working at the Library of Congress?
Oh, I love it. Castro came and he gave a speech across the street from the Library of Congress, the Capitol. He went in the Capitol, and then when he finished, I was listening to what he had to say, you know. And since he was from Cuba and I was from Cuba too, we talked a lot. And he invited me to go to see him and at the office of Cuba in the Americas here. So I was afraid of that, you know, and he called me here, Fidel Castro, and he said, "We are waiting for you to come." And I said, "Oh, Comandante, I have a sick child, and I'm sorry I could not go. That was
That's pretty impressive.
yeah, that was it. Yeah.
So you worked hard, working at night, going to school at night.
Yes, that's right.
So how long into your marriage before Lynn was born?
Next year.
The next year. So you were active.
Exactly.
You had a lot going on.
Yeah, that's going on. The grandmother was living with us, and she took care of the baby to the point that when she cried at night, I'll run to my baby and she'll say, no, because you have to work tomorrow. I'll take care of the baby. So I miss that. I miss taking care of the baby, my first baby. Of course I did, fed and everything like that, but she loved that grandchild so much. And I worked, but she took care of the children. And she did a wonderful job. Yeah, she did a great job. Thanks to her.
So then Man was born how many years later?
Man was born like three years later. And then she always said, as a joke, then is when you should have stopped. Then I had the Michelle, Rox, Michelle, Beverly, and Jackie. Every child was welcome. I mean, I never thought, 4, I'm not going to get, it came in, was there. No problem. I know that, yes. To the fact that at work, and I'll go with my lab coat, sort of open, and the time that I could button it, the doctors will ask me, where is his stomach? Like, they didn't like me without my stomach. Where's his stomach? They go, well, I left it at home. It's 4 months. I had the most normal pregnancies ever. And sometimes I say, yeah, it took me 4 or 5 hours. I remember it was a snowstorm.
Oh, yeah.
It was March. And I looked out the window and I said, I hope that when I have this baby, there is no snow in the ground. And it was the worst storm of the winter. By the time I was ready, it was about a foot of snow. And I remember Daddy walking me to the car and then coming back and walking backwards. And I said, why do you do that? She says, Mother is there with the little ones, and I don't want the footprints on the snow leaving the house. I want the footprints going in. Protection.
Was snow.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Protect the children, and Mother is alone, and you see the big footsteps going out of the house. I want them to go in, so they know the man of the house is there. So, we hit US 1 and we hit every red light.
Yeah, we went through the red lights.
Yeah, every red light, and he was banging the horn, and we got to the hospital and there was no parking. They were sort of fixing the road and they had these boards. So he left me by the door and went to find a parking. By the time I got in the elevator, the doctor was there already, and by the time he parked and came,
He said,
you have...
I'm sorry, Manuel. Another girl.
And I remember when I brought Jackie home, we had the sofa there, and I had the baby like this, and Beverly sat next to me and looked at her funny, like, what is this doing here? She was the baby then, took her place.
We bought this house, and my brother moved across the street. When he moved across the street, we were the first one to move here, and then we told him that that house was for sale. So my mother was very happy when she found out that he also was close to her. He was the president of the Puerto Rican club here at one time. He worked for the, ¿cómo se llamaba? For Northeastern.
El comisionado.
For the commissioner.
The resident commissioner,
of
yeah.
Puerto Rico here in Washington. And my sister she lived 2 blocks from here. And since then we have been here, and she has been in the same place. She was a professor at Maryland University, and she comes to stay with us every Saturday.
Every Saturday.
Yeah, she comes yeah. We are very close.
I love where I live because it's close to everything. I don't drive. And the school was nearby. The children didn't have to get in buses when they were really young. And Maryland University is everything is very accessible.
Well, we are a very close family, our children.
Has religion played a part in your life?
I'm Catholic. I was a child of Mary. I had communion every Sunday. And we married Catholic. And I used to go to church, St. Mark's, when I had 1 or 2, but then when I had this, he'll take them all. So by the time I got everybody in their snowsuits and everything, I had so much to do as I worked, and I stopped going. But I'm a Catholic.
And you were a Catholic too?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I don't go to church, but I live by the commandments.
Yes, you do. You have the moral values of
I live by the commandments.
That's right.
We instill love, love each other, and honesty, morals.
Yeah.
Those are, things that are very important. In my neighborhood, I was friends with everybody. Everybody lived there forever. They owned their properties, and they had the children who went to the same school, and we play in the streets like I did, jump rope and whatever. Always in the streets, running and playing. And the friends will have arguments about really something. And they come and tell me, that Iris, what she to me? And you're the I was friends with everybody, but I'll never argue with anybody. I never argue. And when he tells me something, I always say, none of my business.
So it's okay?
I tell Papi sometimes, none of my business.
Oh.
Whenever he tells, I know my business. None of my business. And man is like that. One time he said, if he doesn't touch me, I don't care. Yeah, I've been happy. They were supposed to come at 11:30, midnight.
I am sure I told Jackie to be home at
No, I think you were out with her. Yeah.
And he'll be here, and pretty soon he'll go upstairs and come down, with his jacket. I said, where are you going? And he'll go all US1 checking to see if he could find them. But they call. And pretty soon there is Beba. And she didn't see the car, and she comes and, what is that? She knew. So we went to look for you. And she go to bed. And when he came in, 10 minutes later, he yelled from the stairway, I talked to you in the morning. But never happened because I sleep late. So you forget.
we were coming home, maybe not on the time we were supposed to, and I could see Daddy in the window up there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had been out and been just as bad as Jackie, and we were home late. But since I saw Daddy up there, I went, Jackie, get out of that car and get into this house right now. That's the first time I've confessed that story. I've been such a goody two-shoes, but that's because I knew you were there.
What did you tell the boyfriends when they came over to pick us up?
Well, I was always defending you, my children, looking for them.
I remember, excuse me, he mentioned something to Steve,
Steve, yes, Steve
and
was
he
the
said,
one.
"This is the first time that someone tells me that."
What did he tell
The
him?
first time. Bring her on time, and this and that. He said, "That's the first time that anybody asked me that." So, well, that is always the first time.
Yeah,
Get
Steve.
used to it.
That's what man always said, "You should have stopped when you had me because I have to take care of these four." And I remember he'll say goodbye from the door and say, "Remember, a moment of pressure can be a lifetime of misery." I remember Michelle went with a couple people from her work to a baseball game in Baltimore, but she was to meet them. She didn't say if she was going to drive or what. She was going to, So she left her car in a motel parking lot and went in the car with the other people. We were watching the game, and the game is over. I said, "I'll give her an hour to get here." So there is the hour, and where is Michelle? And he went US 1, and he finds the car empty, no Michelle. The motel there.
Finish the story.
It's a story. It's a story. And I don't know if he stood by the car because I stay here with the kids. And the thing is that the other person, when the game finished, took the wrong way. Instead of heading this way, he headed towards Baltimore or something. So it took time. So finally she gets here. Well, then she gets in the car and came. They left her there. But he waited there till she got.
When you were using the cars, if you were not here, I will go out looking for you everywhere. And by the time I came back, most of the time,
They were in bed already.
you were in bed. Because mommy will tell you, your father is looking for you, so get in bed, hurry up before he comes.
Uncle Al, he put a floodlight when she came in. And when he mentioned retirement, Uncle Al said, "If you're going to retire, to be under the cars every Saturday," because he had 6 old cars that they drove, but on Saturday he checked everything. "If you're going to retire, to spend your time under those cars."
Oh, yeah. We got a car for each one of them.
Yeah.
And they look pretty cool in those Mustangs, I must say.
How about with all the kids? How did you handle birthday parties and clothing and haircuts and?
Oh, yeah.
I gave you haircuts. You remember? I used to give him haircuts. I gave him haircuts and we were on sale.
How about when we
And,
wanted the latest fashions?
One time, Beverly Foss, she wanted a pair of shoes, and Daddy said, "Well, let's wait till it's on sale." And she said, "Daddy, does everything have to be on sale?" No, Beverly. He said, "Yes, everything has to be on sale." Nothing worse than paying full price, and then a couple days later you see it reduced. I feel like taking it back. I can tell who's calling without, because Lynn will say, "Hi, Mom." I know it's Lynn. And the man says, "Hi, how is it going?" Then Rob says, "Mother." And Bev says, "Hi, Mom." And Beverly, "Hi, Mommy." And Jackie, "Mommy, oh, Mommy."
Yeah.
Jackie, that is pathetic.
That is signature. Oh, boy.
Is there anything you want to talk about your wonderful grandchildren? No, and like Rock said, no names. Just anything about
names.
the values you'd like to instill in your grandchildren, how they make you happy. Just talk about
Oh.
them.
Yes, well, when they visit, now that they're older, we don't want them to leave. We want to lock all the doors. Don't go, don't go. And they make us proud. They just tend to be wonderful people. They call and, they wait about you, and they're always there when you want them. Yeah.
And you're very lucky.
They are very lucky, yes. Can't complain.
How much I love my family.
Yeah.
Sure, they are everything for me. Yeah, I love them. Yeah. I thank God every day to give me such a good family and a good person like you.
So they made me happy. It's really, I'm very happy with my life. And change it for anything. Yeah. I'm very happy.
Well,
And with him too. You're included.